All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Harakat and double honors unto the elders and apostles of GMS Great Millstone, and a sincere Shalom to all Yakim bringing out this word in diligence and in truth. And, this is a lesson through the Spirit on specifically the bitter herb of the Passover and the significance of it, right? So this is Exodus 12 and 8. And it reads, "And they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire and unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it." Right? Now we understand that tomorrow night, is the Pesach, falls on the Sabbath. And then you have the Feast of Unleavened Bread, in which, the leaven is supposed to be out of your house, out of your houses. Now the significance of purging the leaven is what? Purging the leaven in the spirit, which means what? Removing the impurities. First seeing the faults within yourself, acknowledging those faults and removing the impurities out of yourself, so that you be a cleaner, pure, malleable vessel for Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, right? Which is the significance of not having leaven. That's why the scripture tells us, a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump. Because these men have leaven within their doctrines, and that leaven is a cancer, It's a cancer that spreads, and now their doctrine becomes tainted. It becomes unclean. So purging yourself with the leaven, even as King David said, I purge myself with the hyssop, right? But it says, it says, "And they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire and unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it." Now the bitter, because we understand that the times we're coming into, as the scripture says in the book of Ecclesiastes, better it is to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting, for the living will lay it in his heart, paraphrasing. Basically, understanding that the times we're coming into are going to be, it's going to be bitter times. And the significance of bitter is meaning what? Which is the opposite of sweet, right? The opposite of sweet, meaning it's going to be hard times. As the scripture in Ezekiel says, written within is lamentation, mourning, and woe. And actually, I do want to grab that precept also. I believe it's in Ezekiel as well. Matter of fact, 1 second. And put it in my mouth for bitter. Because the scripture speaks about eating, therefore, the whole roll. So like it says in my stomach it became bitter, I believe. Bitter. Right? It's in the book of Revelation. Here we go. It's Revelation 10 and 10. It says, I'll start at 9. It says, "And I went unto the angel, and he said unto him, Give me the little book," right, the scriptures. "And he said unto me, Take it and eat it up." Meaning what? Eat up, digest the whole truth, man. Because you have a lot of Israelites, and they're putting their Passover on pay-per-view, telling you that anybody can buy tickets to join. Basically selling Passover tickets, man. Making the Lord's house a house of merchandise, when the scriptures clearly tell you not to do that. Yahushai, what did he do when he seen that they were making the house of merchandise? He went in there and got them, man. Continuing, it says, "Give me the little book, and he said unto me, Take it and eat it up, and it shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey." Right? Understanding you're an Israelite is something sweet. Understanding that you're of the chosen nation in whom the Most High God and His Son loves, in which you're a favorite. You're favorited. That's good news to you when you first hear it. But it's more than that. It's more than just putting on fringes. It's more than just stop eating shrimp, shellfish, and and pork. It's way more than that, man. This is our heritage. This is a lifestyle. This is something we're indebted by, right? Which means what? Actions have to be taken forth especially as a man. The scriptures tells you that the flock of the Lord's pasture are men, right? So it says, "Take it and eat it up, and it shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey. And I took the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up, and it was in my mouth sweet as honey. And as soon as I had eaten it, as he digested it, my belly was bitter," because he understood that hell comes with this task of being a man of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, man. It's not just something that you present just as like a token to say, oh yeah, I'm an Israelite. No, this is a responsibility. Yahweh's blood. That's what bounds you. You're indebted by that, which means the Lord is requiring you to work. You have a lot of Israelites that are just in camps marching and no chance. Who knows if they're praying? We know they're not teaching and prophesying. And then they're all about law, not even understanding the fullness of the scriptures, man. So the bitter that's coming is drastic. Understanding that this Passover is not a time of, of mirth. The scriptures clearly tell you it's a solemn assembly, meaning what is serious business. When you look at the first Pesach, what happened? The death angel came and took out those who didn't have the blood on the lintel and the post, man. It killed the firstborn of the Egyptians. That was a time in which we had to eat in haste because we had to get up out of Egypt, man, because we were being delivered. Yahweh's Passover was what? Very solemn. He understood that what? He was going to be persecuted and ultimately crucified. Which is what? The atonement for the elect of the nation of Israel's sins. That's why when you read the account of him and the apostles in the Garden of Gethsemane, the scripture said his sweat was his blood, man. He was in great heaviness, bitterness, understanding that the task ahead, it was going to be excruciating. It was going to be painful, not only physically, but mentally, and he was going to have to spiritually fight, which is the same mind state that we need to be in, because going back to this bitter, the scripture speaks about the persecution. See, Jake only looks at it in terms of goodness. Oh, yeah, they flaunt it because it's something in right now, which it's not even supposed. We're not doing this because it's a fad, man. Jake is saying it all loud and proud because so many other Israelites, so many other so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are hopping on the train, so to speak. But when persecution arises, will that same energy be there? Because Daniel 12 clearly tells us that this is a time which was never upon the earth. So when we look at the accounts of the men of the Lord who were persecuted, matter of fact, I want to grab this in the book of 2 Chronicles, just to show forth how serious this is for us. The 2 Chronicles 36 and 16. And it reads, but they mocked the messengers of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai and despised his words and misused his prophets until the wrath of the Lord arose against his people till there was no remedy, right? So I want to go into that word right there. Oops. This is 2 Chronicles 36. Hey, because this is a hard pill to swallow for certain individuals, man. Hey, and a lot of Israelites not even thinking about this part of the bitterness. Let's go into misuse. H58, 91. Tawa, to deceive, to mock, to ridicule, to misuse, to maltreat, to cheat, to shake violently, a mocker. Let's see if it has any more. To scoff, to mock, right? And we dealt with scoffing, on a small level, but what about when E puts your face in the news? Because the scriptures clearly tell you, Apostle Paul, Apostle Peter, and the rest of the apostles, I believe all the apostles except one, were put to death, man. They were all put to death. So what? That means they were persecuted. The scriptures tell us in the book of Matthew 5. Matthew 5, and I'll start here at 10. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. So we understand that we have to be persecuted. Salakia. This is not the precept. Defame. That's the word. Here we go. Reviled. Defamed. Here we go. This is 1 Corinthians 4. And I'll start at 11. But I'll go back to that in Matthew. Lord will. It says, even unto this present hour we both hunger and thirst and are naked and are buffeted, right? and have no certain dwelling place. Understand that we gonna go through these same things. Where we may not have a place, a specific house to live in. Understand that Esau is gonna strip these liberties and privileges, but Yahweh Shai is gonna provide for us. Don't forget that, because the Lord is gonna provide. He says, I know that you have need of these things, right? But it says we are buffeted and have no certain dwelling place, and labor working with our own hands. Being reviled, we bless. Being persecuted, we suffer it. So we're going to be reviled. We're going to be persecuted. It says being defamed, we entreat. So we're going to be defamed. We are made as the filth of the world and are the offscoring of all things unto this day. Right, when we go here, hey, I got read 14 as well. It says, I write not these things to shame you, right? I'm not writing these to put you down in a spirit to where it's a woe is me spirit. But as my beloved sons, I warn you, telling you to give heed. Prepare your mind for these things. Prepare your mind for these things. Let's go into these words. Being defamed, G987. To speak reproachfully, rail at, revile, calumniate, blaspheme. To be evil spoken of. That's in the news. That's on social media. That's amongst family members. We can go on and on and on. To make false and defamatory statements about. Saying we're all these types of names, labeling us as these buzzwords. And just imagine the worst ones. You are going to get labeled that, man. We're going to get labeled this. In the account is written, hey, you had niggas that fasted to kill Apostle Paul. They fasted. So like, I gotta grab that. It's a lot. I believe it's in the book of Acts. Salaki. Can't find that account at the moment, but Lord will, I'm gonna grab it. Matter of fact, I can just go here. Here we go. Acts 23. So what is Acts 23? Salaki. This Acts 23. And I'm gonna jump down to the point. Here we go. Acts 23 and 13. 12. It says, and when it was day, certain of the Jews banded together and bound themselves under a curse, saying that they would neither eat nor drink till they had killed Paul. So we understand Jake ain't fasting, in today, But take it into what Jake would do today. Jake will put money on your head. Jake will go out and try to harm your other families or your family members in order to get you. Just think of how wicked niggas are, man. The scriptures tell us that this is the most wicked generation that was ever placed upon the earth. So the wickedness of Jake is going to increase. The scriptures clearly tell you, matter of fact, I'm going to come back to this in Acts 23. Salaki, insurrection. Insurrection. There we go. Those that fear the Lord. This is Second Esdras 16 and 70. It says, "For there shall be in every place and in the next city a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord." Right? It says, "They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord." Right? So I want to look up this word insurrection. Insurrection. Right? And it says a rebellion, a violent uprising against an authority or government. But it's saying it's going to be against the men who fight for Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. So there goes more of that persecution, right? There goes more of that persecution. So going back to Acts 23, you had wicked niggas that fasted to get Apostle Paul, to kill Apostle Paul. It says in this 13, "And they were more than 40 which had made this conspiracy. And they came to the chief priests and elders and said, We have bound ourselves under a great curse, that we will eat nothing until we have slain Paul." So these are niggas, man. Understand that Jake is in the same mind as Esau in terms of not wanting the Lord's word to be pushed. Understand that this is going to be a possibility, not a possibility. You're going to go through this, man. Now, it may be, well, it will be levels, but nevertheless, this is something that you have to digest within your mind. This is part of the bitter that the scriptures speak about.